Hey y'all, Emu here, and I got a tier list today. I don't know if this is going to come out before or after my other tier list, so this might be my first tier list video, but I don't know. Um, I wanted to rank the Warhammer Astartes Legions because why not? Because I like Warhammer and I like making lists of things and lore and stuff like that and having controversial opinions. That's what I do. So I got a tier list of the Astartes Legions. Space Marines. I love the Space Marines. They're my favorite part of Warhammer. Mostly because I don't know much about the other factions yet. I know the other factions, I just haven't done much of a deep dive. But the Space Marines are the most iconic part of Warhammer, and they're like the main characters. So it's fun. For those of you who do not know, the Space Marines are comprised of 20 legions, led by 20 Primarchs who are basically gods, sons of the God Emperor himself. And the Space Marines are all crazy, advanced super soldiers full of multiple organs and cybernetics and whatnot. Um, and the Primarchs lead their legions, and they all have different themes and different things that they do, and they're all cool. But there are two legions that we do not talk about. They were redacted from history. We don't know exactly why. We're not allowed to know why. We're not even supposed to technically know they exist. So we got 18, and those 18 were conveniently split 9 and 9 from Loyal and Traitor. Yes, during a cataclysmic event famously known as the Horus Heresy. A guy named Horus committed heresy and turned 9 of the legions against the Empire towards the side of chaos. So, I'm going to rank the Space Legions. I'm going to make a tier list. Now, I was debating on what would I rank these on? Would I rank them best based on their lore, based on their Primarch, based on their aesthetic, or just based off my own personal preference? And you know what? I don't know. Lore is a little unfair because a lot of these haven't really gotten their time to shine yet. Because a lot of these are very defined on the tabletop. Some of them are not. Some of them are just in books. So, and I don't know much about the tabletop. I haven't read any of the books, but I know a lot about the lore because I am the lore sage. It is my job to know anything about everything all the time. So, I'm just gonna rank these the way I feel necessary, and I'll talk about them a little bit. So we'll go in order. We'll start with the Iron Hands. The Iron Hands. I don't care about the Iron Hands. I don't know anything about Ferrus Manus other than he is cool and he hates flesh and he's part Necron and he likes technology. Um, the Iron Hands, they're a loyalist legion. They are all about cybernetics, mechs, vehicles, um, hyper technical weaponry. They literally cut their body parts off and replace them with robot parts. They turn themselves into cyborgs. They think that the flesh is weak and corruptible, and they don't like people more than the other Space Marines because of this, because flesh is weak and corruptible. They're all about they just love robots and gadgets. But I don't know, they're kind of lackluster for me. I don't really care too much about them personally. I'm gonna put them in C. They're cool, but I don't know much about them. I know Ferrus Manus is kind of a hardhead. I want to say he was friends with Fulgrim, like really good friends with Fulgrim, which is like weird. Or was it Jagda Khan? Forget, he was friends with someone, and it was like kind of weird because he's like so like hard-headed or something. World Eaters, the faction of Angron. Angron the Angry Boy. Angron looks so cool when he becomes a demon. He just becomes like a big dragon with a cool sword. Angron's so cool. The World Eaters are the barbarians of the family with big chainsaw axes, very angry boys. They're angry because they have technology in their brain that makes them angry, or else they feel immense pain. And that's because Angron was a slave that was forced to fight in uh, gladiator pits, and when he refused, they put the technology in his brain to make him fight, and all his sons had the same procedure done out of sympathy or because they just wanted to be like their dad. And they're just a whole legion of angry boys, and they fell to the god Khorne, who is the god of war and bloodshed. So they are a uh, traitor legion. Again, their whole shtick is that they're just angry. They just murder things. That's what they do. Ultramarines. The Ultramarines are the Boy Scouts of Space Marine of Warhammer. They are the poster boys. They are the army. They are the guys. They're the dudes. They are these ads, man. Oh my, get out of here, Marvel Rivals. Dude, the X isn't Xing. What what is this sorcery? What is happening? Marvel Rivals is hijacking my computer. What is this tomfoolery? All right. Ultramarines. Ultramarines are good at everything. Um, they're just the guys. They're the main characters. They're the dudes. They're Titus's Legion. They're Big Booty Gorilla Man's Legion. Robert Gorilla is he's kind of in charge now. Um, he's the logistics guy. He's the bureaucrat. They're all about strategy and trade routes and economy. They're very effective. They're the most effective of all the legions. They have the biggest empire, Ultramar. They're really good at what they do, but they're boring. I'll put them in B because they're effective, but they're boring. Uh, Death Guard. The Death Guard are disgusting, but they're cool. They look cool. Um, yeah, I need to make another tier. I need to make another tier. Wait, hold on. I need to make an F tier. Um, the Death Guard. So the Death Guard were in the warp, and something happened, and they destroyed all their technology and got lost. And then Papa Nurgle found them and infected them all. And they're like, "Don't let us die." And he's like, "Fine, you won't die, but you'll suffer forever." And Typhus was like, "We want to join you," because Typhus is a idiot, jerk, and stupid. And now Mortarion is a cool moth with a scythe. Yeah, the Death Guard are really effective. They poison everyone just by being near them. They are just these juggernauts that do not die. They just take a hit. They were the hazard troops before they turned to chaos, and now they are the hazard. They just bring chemicals and disease and decay and disgustingness in their wake, and then they just slowly advance and just mow through everything. They they're effective. They're crazy. They're the Death Guard. You know what? I'm gonna put it in B. They're cool. All right. Oh crap, what is that one? Is that the Thousand Sons? Yeah, that's the Thousand Sons. The Thousand Sons. I don't care about the Thousand Sons. They're little magic boys that go pew pew, and they're not even alive anymore. They're just fairy dust. They're just little pixie dust inside of suits of armor. And Magnus looks awesome. He's cool, but I mean, all that crazy magical power and you couldn't stop Leman Russ. I mean, Leman Russ is the dude, but come on. You couldn't stop him with your fancy magic. You had to turn to Zinch, the god of mischief. Everyone's like, "Oh, justice for Magnus. Oh, Leman Russ is such a jerk." No, Magnus should have been better. He should have just been better. All right. Lehman Ross is just a maniac that runs at you with an axe or a sword. I feel like the magic could have done something against him, but it didn't. And yeah, the Thousand Sons are just a bunch of floaty boys with no bodies. So the Black Legion sucks without Horus. Horus Supercall, the whole Horus Heresy. The Sons of Horus, they're the unstoppable force. They're the master assault team, and now they're basically just the evil Ultramarines. And they're just the main Chaos Force, the main Space Marine Chaos Force, and that's really all. They look cool, and that's about it. I don't really, yeah. Word bearers? Is that word bearers? That's word bearers, right? Uh, look, word bearers are cool. They look cool. They allow themselves to turn into demons, to become like demon space marines. They do sacrifices and blood rituals. I hate Lorgar. I think Lorgar's a stupid character. He's a simp. I don't like him. Uh, they kept trying to worship the Emperor, and the Emperor kept telling them no, and then they got butthurt and turned to chaos. They're stupid. Um, but they look cool. Salamanders. Salamanders are awesome. Salamanders. They have their skin is as black as charcoal. Their eyes are fiery red. They're from a volcano planet. They are forgers and blacksmiths. They wear dragon skin capes and cloaks. They're the biggest physically of the Space Marines. They use incendiary and flame weaponry, and they are also the kindest and nicest and most gentle of the Space Marines, sacrificing themselves for civilian lives, valuing the people. They're just cool guys. Raven Guard. They are the stealthy boys. They're stealthy. You don't even know they're there. They're not sneaky. They were there for days and you didn't see them. They're snipers or recon agents. They have lightning claw talons on their arms and like winged jetpacks and like beaks on their masks. They don't look stealthy, but they're cool. They're very edgy, very crow-like. All right, Dark Angels, that's my faction. Dark Angels is my faction. That uh, they're cool. They got the whole medieval knight theme. They wear cloaks, and they've got like big, cool swords with like golden crosses on them, and a lot of wings. And their officers are all named after like angels. And Lionel Johnson is really cool, great Primarch. Um, the Dark Angels are kind of cool in the fact that they have like three kind of sub factions that do specialize in different things. The Green Wing is the normal Marines, and they have the Deathwing Terminators, which are just these giant like exoskeleton like giant space marines with like the big heavy like bone colored armor. And then there's the was it the Black Wing, or like the stealth recon corps with like flyer bikes and stuff. And then there's the whole problem with like the Fallen that they're basically just fighting themselves half the time. But they're cool. They got cool imagery and iconography. I love them. The Dark Angels. Um, Alpha Legion is also going up in A tier. I love the Alpha Legion. They're so fun. They're so crazy. Um, they have two Primarchs, Alpharius and Omegon. All the Space Marines made themselves look like Alpharius, so no one would know who Alpharius was. They don't do that anymore. They're kind of a tragic tale because they're the only Space Marine Chaos Space Marine Legion that didn't go into the warp, so they have been out fighting for 10,000 years. And most of them are dead, or like the originals are dead, so they don't even know why they're bad. They don't know why they're heretics. They don't know what they're doing, what their plan is. They're so disorganized. Alpha Omegon might be dead. Alpharis might be dead. They don't know which one. But they are all about espionage, trickery, um, impersonation, hacking, assassination, sabotage. Like They're just really cool. Emperor's Children. Emperor's Children, one that like doesn't really get like they're not really on the tabletop. Fulgrim did just get his new model. He's like a big snake man. He looks sick. But Fulgrim, they're all about perfection. They've got like really fancy ships with gold statues, and they fight with like sonic weaponry. They fell to the god Slanesh, the god of excess and lust and desire. Um, Fulgrim's basically whole thing is that just he's like really pretty. Like that was it. And he's all about perfection and elegance. And now he's a big snake. So yeah, I don't have much to say about the Emperor's Children. The Iron Warriors. I like the Iron Warriors. They're cool. Um, the Iron Warriors are all about siege. They turn to chaos not because they like chaos, but because they hate you. Perturabo is just a bitter, angry man. Perturabo was given a lot of bad jobs. He was basically sent to the most perilous jobs where he had to sacrifice hundreds of his sons and got no recognition or credit for it, and all of his other brothers were praised and glorified for doing nothing. And made him really angry. And he really hates Dorn because Dorn builds things and Perturabo destroys things. So they hate each other. But Perturabo is very competent. The Iron Warriors are the reason why Horus was able to succeed at the beginning of the Horus Heresy. The the Iron Warriors summon demons and put them into machines to use as shock troops and cannon fodder, which is really cool. And they have a cool um like industrial kind of aesthetic. The White Scars are awesome. They're based off of like the Huns, um like Genghis Khan, the Mongolians. They fight on the backs of motorcycles and speeders, and they run really fast, and they're all about like mounted combat. They're the strike team. And Jagtai Khan is like really stoic, and he's also like he just roasts people. He's very insightful and perceptive, and they're very humble. They don't seek glory and all that. They just enjoy. They love doing their job. They enjoy it. Uh, they're just a cool faction. The Space Wolves, you know where they gotta go. The Space Wolves are the Vikings. I'm Scandinavian. I like Vikings. They're cool. The Space Wolves are cool. They are Vikings. They turn into wolves. They ride wolves. They eat people to learn about their battle knowledge. All the Space Marines can do that, but they do that a lot. They created a special mead out of a poisonous plant so they can get drunk because Space Marines have too high of a metabolism, which is just kind of crazy. They're just crazy Vikings. They're Vikings in space. Um, Lehman Russ is just a boss. Lehman Russ is awesome. Is like Horus is attacking. I can't kill him, so I'm just gonna crash my spaceship into his spaceship, walk through his ship, kill everything along the way, go up to the bridge, and stab him and run. And that's what he did. And he's just so cool. he's just he's an idiot, kind of, but he's like a fun idiot. He's just like me punch hard. He's great. I love Lehman Russ. I hope he comes back soon. Iron Fists. I like the Iron Fists. Imperial Fists. I'm sorry, Imperial Fists. The names get a little similar. You got the Iron Hands, the Iron Warriors, and the Imperial Fists. So, Imperial Fists. I like them. They're cool. They're like your kind of standard military. They're just a cool, big, gruff and tough military with tanks. They're all about defense. They are the immovable object. They are masters of defensive tactics and strategies. And Rogel Dorn is smart but stupid. He's very good at what he does, but he's very stoic. He has no sense of humor. He's kind of a stick in the mud, but he's effective. Um, the Night Lords. The Night Lords are cool. I like the Night Lords. I wish they got more love on like the tabletop and stuff. They're in Kill Team, which is cool. But The Night Lords are nuts. They are a heretical legion, but they're not demon. Although you might be surprised by that because they act like it. They basically Conrad Kurz. He's like kind of based off Vlad the Impaler. Like he's got a whole like Slavic thing going on. He's kind of like evil Batman, like mixed with Sinestro. Like he believed that fear and pain were ways to discipline and enforce people, but then that just kind of turned into just maniacal chaos. And all the Space Marines are like child criminals, like murderers since childhood, and they just maim and murder and torture and flay just because it's fun. They only go into things with when they have like incredible odds, and just overpower things. They kill civilians just because it's easy. And I love the story where they took over a ship, flew it back to the planet, and everyone thought that they had won the battle, and then they opened the airlocks and just dumped all the flayed body parts onto the populace. That's just is a great story. Also, they wear the Avenged Sevenfold logo on their chest, so they're cool. They're cool because of that. Last we have the Blood Angels. The Blood Angels are vampires, literally. They have a cool like Roman Catholic vibe. Their father, Sanguinius, had angel wings. He was cool. He died. It was very sad. Um, love that it took that for the Emperor to finally. I hate the Emperor. The Emperor is such. I know that's heresy. I know, but the Emperor is such an idiot. He could have prevented so much. He's so stupid. But it took Sanguinius dying for him to realize that Horus was a threat. So dumb. And then he almost died trying to fight Horus. Like, or basically died. Um, yeah, the Blood Angels have a malfunction in their gene seed so that they go crazy over time. They have to drink blood, and then after like Sanguinius died, they experienced Black Rage, and basically like they just see everything around them as Horus and just have to murder everything. They just see Horus everywhere. They have like super PTSD and just have to murder everything in sight. They are the shock troops. They hit hard, they hit heavy, they hit with force. They're a cool faction. Not exactly one of my favorites, but they're cool. I'll give them a B. Yeah, I'll give them a B. Um, but yeah, I think I think that's good. I mean, could probably move the Thousand Suns up. I mean, it's not that the Thousand Suns are cool, it's his Zinch is cool, and like his dragon demon things are cool. Uh, 'Cause without that, they're just like Egyptian wizards. But, um, and I'll leave them down there. I don't really care about them. But yeah, I guess it's my list. Take it how you will. They're not really in an order by tier, but yeah, the Space Marines are just cool, man. I just like the Space Marines. They're cool. They're like Master Chief on steroids mixed with Marcus Phoenix. Um, they're awesome. But yeah, so that's kind of my thoughts on the Legions. Yeah, I might do other Space Marine videos. I might talk about them on a podcast or Warhammer. I might talk about Warhammer on my podcast in the future. But yeah, I just kind of wanted to just do a little fun little tier list. Just talk about lore, talk about stuff, throw stuff together. Yeah. Um, Thanks for watching. I hope this was fun. It's fun for me. And I'll see you later. Bye. What is wrong with me?